Well, hello, students. I would love to welcome you to Writing for Professionals. I never thought that I would be a writer. No, seriously, I never did. Um, honestly, been a management professor for a number of years, and I really thought about, at one point in my life, and I didn't know when, writing a book about um, leadership. I have a passion for leadership. I think it's so important in so many different venues and ways, can't imagine. But what I do know is that what I learned about leadership, I wanted to express to others and to be able to get the point across about my passion for the subject in so many different ways and reach so many different populations. And the only way to do that is, as they say, with the pen and the paper. Of course, you can use media, social media, all those things. But what really sticks is what goes from here inside your head to what's written down. That's what people remember. Um, having said that, I kind of forgot about the idea. I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to write a book. Um, I actually edit college textbooks as well, but not about writing one myself. Where's this all going? In a nutshell, um, when I was a consultant before I got into teaching full time, there was someone in a very affluent continuing care retirement community who we became good friends. I was his consultant. I was an organizational consultant. We became really good friends, and we both had some really interesting ideas about leadership. So one day we would traditionally get together, sit at a coffee shop, and talk about leadership. I mean, among other things, but we really had, I thought, some really good ideas about the topic. So I said, it was interesting because we started writing things down on napkins, really. One idea, another idea, different leadership things. And I said, wouldn't it be kind of interesting if we were actually able to write a book about this stuff? And I looked at him and he said, yeah, it would be. I said, but I never thought about writing. He said, well, I wrote a book about, he said to me, I wrote a book about retirement homes because, he's been in the geriatric business for so many years. And as an administrator, nursing home administrator, and he said, why don't we think about that? And we did. And I was trying to think of how to get the points across about leadership with someone, I had ideas, but I wanted to do something that was unique. So what I thought about was the way we wrote things down on napkins. We wrote many different ideas about leadership. So I said, well, what if we were to invent a character or a group of characters, and there would be the mentee, and then there would be the mentor. And basically, what I said to him was, what if we were able to get the mentor to write things down for the mentee, all right? But write them on like napkins. And he said, you know something? I thought about that myself because um, my father and I owned a couple of nursing homes when I first started my career. And he got ill, and I was 21 years old, he said, and I had to take over the business. And I was, at the time, the youngest administrator in the country because my father was sick. We didn't want to lose the nursing homes. And when he was so sick that he couldn't talk, he would often take me on trips with him. He would write things down on notes on paper. And I said, well, he didn't give you all the answers, right? He said, no, he didn't. But he told me what needed to be done, and he gave me direction. So long story short, we wrote a book together, and you can Google it on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. It's still out there, and it's called Leadership is a Choice by Kenneth Strong Jr. and John DeCicco. What? And it did okay. I mean, we got all our points across. So I actually wrote the story with the characters. We kind of switched roles, me being the academic and him being the administrator. And he wrote the lesson plans. And he's a pretty good artist, and he put some nice pictures on there too in the book as well. For the first class, if I remember, I'll bring a copy of the book and pass it around. You can see what we've done. But the point is that writing after that became something that I developed a passion for. Not a hobby, but a passion besides what I do. And since that first book, I've had the honor and opportunity to write for others. I'm working on another one right now and also doing ghostwriting. And I never thought I would do this stuff, but I realized how important writing was. So what I'm hoping to do is to share a lot of what I learned over the years about writing and try to get you to put some really good ideas together. But I don't want to dictate it. We have a great book. I can hold it up here. So, Writing with Power. I looked through it. It's a pretty decent book. We use that as a structure and a guideline as we go through the chapters. But what's really important is what you write about. The syllabus is there. It's not etched in stone. It's a guideline. I want to follow it, but not look at it as gospel. What's really important is what you learn from me and from each other and from the book and from other sources and as we go through the semester. For the first class, if possible, what I'd like you to do is, if you could, bring in some magazines that you're interested in, journals, newspapers, things that, different types of writing, and just want to talk about them for a few minutes and why they were important to you and what you liked about their writing. The first week I want to kind of introduce ourselves, get familiar with the syllabus, the overview. By the way, I posted the syllabus up here on Canvas. Take a look at it, print it out, bring it to class. That would be good. And what's really important here is your ability to learn in a comfortable atmosphere. This is a good sized class. I think we got at least 15 in the class, 12 to 15. An hour and 50 minutes goes by really fast. So what we do outside of class is as important as what we do in class. So it's really the practice. Writing is practice. I know you get grades. It isn't like just taking a test and getting a grade. It's a lot more than that. It's practice. It's writing. It's understanding what goes cognitively from your brain to the paper and what it means to you. How much of a passion do you have for writing? What do you like? What don't you like? So bring in some magazines, some, things that really interest you, some books, and we can just talk about that the first week. Outside of that, I will see you Monday, the 22nd, I believe at noontime. I don't know what room we're in yet, so I'll have to figure that one out when I get there, but I'm sure they'll tell us. Okay, have a good weekend, Professor DeCicco.